Hey guys, it's Xiaoma. In today's video, I'm going to compare 3 different pairs of Western and Chinese food chains and share some of my personal thoughts. Of course, if you have a different opinion, feel free to share it in the comments. But before we get started, there's one very important thing I need to do.
Work hard, play hard, work hard, play hard.
So first we compared burgers, specifically McDonald's spicy chicken burger and Tastien's spicy chicken burger. Since I'm a huge McDonald's fan, so we started here. The store we visit today is right next to a subway station. It's very convenient. It's also quite spacious and has a nice atmosphere. They have toys from their collaboration with Chiikawa. There are 2 self-ordering machines, and you can switch them to English. I ordered 2 set meals, and thanks to a coupon, everything came to 40 yuan. One of the meals also came with a little cookie from a collaboration with a singer. So I ordered the spicy chicken burger, which is one of my favorites. When it comes to McDonald's classic products in China, this burger is definitely one of them. The biggest difference between this and Tastien's burger is the bun. McDonald's uses a soft, fluffy bun. Personally, I prefer it because it's much softer. The chicken is crispy and well seasoned, especially when it's fresh out of fryer.
我觉得这种麦当劳或者是 KFC 的汉堡，它们这个面包特别的松软，然后卡出生的就是那种比较有韧性。对。
When you take a bite, it's juicy and has a pretty strong kick. If you are used to spicy food, it's not too bad. But for someone like my sister who can't handle spicy food, it might be a little too much. Compared to Tastien's burger, McDonald's lettuce also tastes fresher, which really helps cut through the grease. I also like that McDonald's doesn't use too much salad dressing. One thing I'm not sure about, maybe it's just me, but I feel like the coating on the fried chicken is thicker than it used to be, and it's also a little harder.
这个饼干就是普通的饼干味儿的，甜甜的，应该就是那种小薄饼干，不够脆了。谢谢啊，谢谢。
真服了。Tastien is a Chinese burger brand that focuses on making what it calls Chinese-style burgers. That's why its bun is quite different from a traditional burger bun. It's more like a Chinese flatbread and has a much chewer texture. At Tastien, I also ordered a set meal plus 1 extra burger, and everything came to just 20 yuan. That's another one of Tastien's biggest advantages. It's cheap. On delivery apps, if you use a coupon, you can sometimes get a burger and a drink for around 10 yuan. That's an amazing deal.
什么梗啾啾的，对，它这个面皮很嚼劲，很有韧劲。
For the burger, I went with one of Tastien's classics, the spicy chicken burger. Compared to McDonald's, it has 1 extra ingredient, purple cabbage. And there's also more salad dressing. I also feel like the amount of dressing isn't very consistent because my sister's burger clearly had more dressing than mine. Luckily, she actually prefers more dressing, but personally, I prefer less because by the end, I found it quite greasy.
但我觉得它的那个鸡肉其实还可以。
The lettuce also wasn't as fresh, so it didn't really help cut through the grease. As we mentioned earlier, the bun is very chewy, and there's probably the biggest feature of Tastien's burgers. Because of this, the whole burger looks a little flatter.
1到10分，你打几分？给个7.5分。那我就给他7分。
Next, we compared coffee, specifically the lattes from Luckin Coffee and Starbucks. Luckin Coffee is probably the most representative Chinese coffee brand. The store I visited was very small, with only a few seats. That's one of the differences between Luckin and Starbucks. Luckin stores usually are not very large, and they can be found in all kinds of locations, from street corners to office building lobbies. It's very easy to find one nearby, which makes it extremely convenient. Luckin's most iconic drink is actually the coconut latte, but since Starbucks doesn't have a direct equivalent, I choose a regular latte to make the comparison fair. When I tried Luckin's latte, I didn't notice anything particularly special. It just tasted like a normal latte. Luckily, there happened to be a Starbucks right next door, so I bought my drink over there. Just looking at them, the sizes are almost identical. The Luckin one is a regular size, while the Starbucks one is a grand. But once we tried them side by side, the difference was pretty obvious. We both felt that Starbucks had a richer and smoother flavor and tasted better. We also felt that the ice in the Luckin drink melted faster, so it became watery pretty quickly. You had to drink it fast. You can also see that Starbucks has a much larger and more comfortable space compared to Luckin. Of course, the biggest difference is the price. The Luckin latte was 9.9 yuan, while the Starbucks one was 33 yuan. So, obviously, I'm still going with Luckin. By the way, another interesting thing about Luckin is how often it does collaborations. They have new collaborations all the time. Recently, they collaborated with Disney's Evil Queen. And there happened to be a themed store here in Nanjing, so we decided to check it out. There was this really cool interactive magic mirror inside the store.
魔镜魔镜，谁是世界上最美的女人？哎，她好像没有反应。魔镜魔镜，谁是这个世界上最美丽的女人？哎，她有反应。
And the second floor was also decorated really nicely. Finally, we compared fried chicken, specifically Wallace and Popeyes. Wallace is another Chinese brand. The store I visited was not very big either, but the atmosphere was okay. Its biggest advantage is also the price. I ordered 2 pieces of fried chicken breast and 1 fried chicken leg, and everything cost just 13 yuan. Our chicken seemed to have just come out of the fryer, so it was really hot and crispy. However, the meat was a little tough, probably because it had been fried for too long. Compared to the Popeyes we tried later, Wallace chicken also had a less noticeable chicken flavor. So overall, apart from the cheap price, I thought it was pretty average. By the way, I saw a lot of people online saying that Wallace fried chicken gave them diarrhea. So let's see if that happens to us. Then we went to Popeyes. This was our first time trying Popeyes fried chicken, and I had seen so many people recommend it that I was really excited. The store was much bigger than Wallace, and the interior was also really nice. I ordered this set meal, which cost around 60 yuan. First of all, I have to say, their fries are so good. I think they are even better than McDonald's fries. They had just been cooked, so they were incredibly crispy. The fried chicken was also really good. It was well marinated, with an incredibly crispy coating. It was juicy when you bit into it, and the meat was really tender. We all agreed that it tasted great. The pieces were also pretty big, and by the time we finished everything, we were already really full. The set also came with mashed potatoes. Honestly, I'm not usually a fan of mashed potatoes. I tried KFC's before and found them a little too greasy. But the mashed potatoes here were surprisingly good. They had a nice gravy flavor, and they tasted even better when dipped with the fried chicken. My sister was teaching me a new way to eat it, which was pretty funny. I also saw a lot of people online saying that Popeyes in China isn't as good as the one in the US. So now I'm really curious to see just how good Popeyes in America is. Anyway, when I was editing this video the next day, I had already had diarrhea 3 times. I have no idea if it was because of Wallace or if both of them were responsible. And that's it for today's video. See you next time. Bye bye.